In this video, I'm going to show you what soil blocking is and how to soil block for beginners. Let's go.
Stop killing your plants.
Make sure you subscribe and leave a comment below. So what is soil blocking? Basically, you compact soil with something like this. There's a few different types out there, and you don't necessarily have to have plastic surrounding your soil. So the big benefit I found so far is when you go to put these soil blocks in the garden, there's not as much transplant shock. So normally when I do this, they just start growing in the garden. There's no like 2 or 3 days or weeks of them trying to get back their root system because they actually air prune. And what that means is when the roots get close to the edge of the soil, it kind of just naturally dies off, and then the roots focus going straight down. And because of this, they don't get root bound, the roots don't start wrapping around each other, and it just makes for a more healthy transplant. For me, the things I absolutely cannot stand about seed starting is starting a seed tray and then transplanting that seed tray into another tray and then popping out the seedlings when you go into the garden. With this method, it's not a seed starting mix, it's actually a garden soil. So you don't have to transplant twice. And you also don't have to pop out of the trays the plants at the end, because you can just grab these cubes and just stick them in the garden. Now, there are a lot of cons to soil blocking. It typically takes more time up front, but you do save a lot of time not popping out those seedlings at the end. They dry out a lot faster, they can crumble a lot easier, so there are definitely a lot of negatives. But for me personally, I kind of like the challenge and I think it's pretty cool. There's all kinds of soil blocking tools. This is a 1.5 inch 5. Personally, I prefer this. A lot of people use the 2 inch, and this is a 4 inch. So what the 4 inch is for is you can actually place a 2 inch or a 1.5 inch into a 4 inch and just grow really, really big plants without any type of tray, which is pretty cool. So the first mistake to avoid when doing soil blocking is not planting too early, especially in soil blocks. If you plant too early, you're not transplanting to a bigger container, what's going to happen is your seeds are going to be stunted because the roots are going to want to go to the edges, they're going to air prune, and you're probably going to have stunted growth. Dang. The second biggest mistake in soil blocking is not getting your mix right. If you have big chunks, it's probably going to make all your blocks fall apart. So you definitely need to have fine material and you need to really mix it well. The fourth mistake is making sure the soil is really, really wet. You don't want it too wet, but you definitely want it to squeeze out water. If you get the soil too wet, it's not going to want to stay in the soil block maker. And if you get it too dry, it's just going to crumble. The fifth mistake a lot of people make with soil blocking is watering from above. If you water from above, the reality is you're probably going to crumble over time. You're going to crumble these soil blocks. So make sure you always underwater and then mist if you need the tops to be a little wetter. And the sixth and final mistake a lot of people make is not cleaning this out when you get done. If you don't clean this out, it's going to be really, really hard to maintenance this and keep this for your life. What deadly gardening mistakes do you want me to do next? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and leave a comment below.